Hi everybody, Tim here with today's episode of Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 6, Episode 5, Schisms. So I'm not really sure how I feel about this episode. It's kind of a slow burn. The first part it's really slow. And at first I was like, I don't know if I want to make it through this. But then by the time we got to the end, it's really interesting and it takes a really fucked up twist. But then when we get to the end, you're like, that's it? Like, that's what I waited for? So, I don't know. There's parts of it that are really good. But anyways, so the beginning, we see Riker, and he's having trouble sleeping. And it's kind of interesting because he ends up oversleeping, and he's late for a shift, which I don't remember exactly when, but we've seen that in previous shifts where other people have had it overslept, and Riker just tears into them. Whereas now it's his turn, and of course he just dismisses it like, I'm the commander, what are you going to do? I'm not here. So it's kind of interesting. And then there's a great scene where Data is doing his poetry readings, and I think he says 9 or 10 different poems, and then the infamous Ode to Spot poem, which is pretty great. I should get a copy of it and just do a video recording that. It would be funny. The one thing I like about this episode, so I've mentioned before, how much I've always wanted some, Star Trek clothes, and I just got the original series shirt, and I've always wanted, the Next Generation shirt, or Picard's jacket or something. I love Riker's pajamas in this episode. I don't know what they're the blue, and they're quilted almost. I don't know. They look really comfortable, and I was like, damn, I would totally wear that. So I don't know. Now that's my new project, is to try to look up Riker's pajamas. So whatever. So as the episode continues, people start losing time, where Riker, you see him lay his head down to go to sleep, and then Geordi wakes him up within seconds. And Geordi says it's been hours, but Riker says it's been seconds. And the same with Data. Geordi goes to sickbay and comes back, and Data's like, you've been gone for 1 minute. And Geordi's like, no, it's been 90 minutes. So people are losing time. And then they start getting a little glimpses of memories. And this is where the episode starts to get interesting, is because it turns out that several crew members are having this phenomenon where they're losing time. And a few of them go into the holodeck with Troy. It's like Riker, Geordi, Worf, and insert random Starfleet member here. So, and they all four of them remember some sort of table. And it's an interesting scene because they keep changing the table. Oh no, it's not wood, it's metal. Oh, it's longer. Oh, it's an incline. Oh, it has this. And slowly you realize that it's almost like a torture device. Well, from here, Crusher starts going further and looking into it. And here's where, it sucked me into the episode, is she realizes that Riker's arm had been amputated and then reattached. What the fuck is that? This episode just got all sorts of crazy, and I was not mentally prepared for how twisted this whole episode got. I mean, from here, it turns out that members of the crew have been being kidnapped and taken apart and re-put back together. And it's a weird Twilight episode. I don't even know what's happening. And they start to try to explain it, and oh, they're from another dimension, and they're basically pulling us through for a little bit because they're not part of our molecular... I don't know. It's crazy and twisted, and they end up closing the rift, and everybody saves the day. But it's this long drawn out thing where you just think Riker's sleep deprived, and nope, it turns out we're being dissected and put back together. This episode's fucking weird. I don't know how I feel about this episode. If in one mind sense I love it, and then the other one I hate it. I don't know. I can't do this episode. So for those who have seen it and you are better at putting into words than I am, what did you guys think? Did this episode creep you out like it did me? Did you love this episode? Did you hate this episode? Go ahead, let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys for everything, and I will see you guys next time for the fun episode, True Q.